The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of rmconair.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the So What Morning Show has returned with yet another interesting topic. Get to your phone lines right now, 323-965-1600. The reason why this is so important is because we're doing a show today that is centered on fixing relationship issues and problems. We have some very heavy people in the building. We got some celebrities in the building. We got me, Jeff Brown, Dr. Mark Goulston. It's going to be crazy. Get to your phone lines right now, 323-965-1600. Before I introduce everyone, got a house full today. We got to take care of a little business. The new So What shirts are almost sold out. Almost. Half the order that I got is going out the door. Somebody call me right now if you want to get your order done today too. ZoWhatOrders@gmail.com. We got the Go Deeper shirt and we have the Trauma and Forgiveness shirt. If you follow me on Twitter @ZoWilliams, you'll see pictures and videos, and we're going to play a little commercial later on so you can see the t-shirts, but they're awesome. It's apparel with meaning. Right? Wear what you mean. How about that? 323-965-1600. Somebody get at me if you want So What t-shirts. They're really fly. ZoWhatOrders@gmail.com. Again, the phone number to dial is 323-965-1600. We're looking for relationship issues. Whatever you've been through, hell and high water. If you're stuck somewhere, we're going to show you how to get out of it. Now, as is commonplace, common practice for the show, books. Here's my book selection, and from there we'll go to break and come back and introduce everyone. The levels of attachment. I think it's the 5 levels of attachment. Yes, poetess? The 5 levels of attachment. Miguel Ruiz Jr. Please go get this book. Add it to the growing collection. And let me just say this. I want to thank Alabama Rob and a brother named Ricky Drake out there on Twitter. These guys have created an entire website devoted to promoting the books we put out, Doc. It's crazy. It's an entire website of people just following us for the book selections we offer. So I think that's awesome. I want to thank those guys for compiling all of the pictures and images and putting it up on their website. So the next book, The Voice of Knowledge, also by Miguel Ruiz Jr. and Senior, by Miguel Ruiz Sr. These are some books that the poet has suggested I tell people about. And to fit our topic today, the gamification of learning and instruction, game-based methods and strategies for training and education. Please get it, Carl M. Cap. And for the people who think I'm crazy because I buy into some of the conspiracy theories out there, here's a book. Everything is Under Control, Conspiracies, Cults, and Cover-Ups by Robert Anton Wilson. You got to check that book out. It's really crazy. Another book, Your Immortal Reality, How to Break the Cycle of Birth and Death by Gary Renard. Somebody has got to call me when I come back. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. My final book, which is very important. Still $2.99 for the next 2 weeks only. On Amazon.com, you got to get Real Influence by Dr. Mark Goulston. You got to participate. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure there's a Kindle app on it. You can download it. You can participate. You got to do it. Real Influence. You got to check it out. Dr. Mark is a cold piece of work. If you've been listening to this show, you understand what I'm talking about. And I got one more book. One more book. Personal Development for Smart People. The Conscious Pursuit of Personal Growth. Steve Pavlina. This is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in 2.2, but when I come back, I'm introducing Jeff Brown, Dr. Mark Goulston, and my 2 special guests, and we are going to go into relationship issues and their solutions. People have been asking me, when are you going to do a show about solutions? When are you going to do a show about how do we get out of this situation? If you're in a situation, if you know somebody in a situation, if you're recently out of a situation, so you think, call us and share it. 323-965-1600. We'll be back at 2.2 with the topic and the guest. Holla, so what? Ladies and gentlemen, we've already done the books. Back in the building, So What Morning Show. You know how we do. Crazy topic today. I like to bend the reality of what we're all comfortable with and what we think is true. This show is about healing relationships today. The Relationship ER Urgent Care Show. Now listen to this subtitle. Can gamification be the ultimate solution for ailing relationships? What is gamification? We have some professionals, some experts, some specialists.
It's going to put you up on game.
That's going to put you up on game. In the building right now. Let me do this. Let me introduce to my immediate left the So What Morning Show think tank. The Brain Trust. Without further ado, Jeff Brown, comedian extraordinaire. What's happening, man?
Hey, man. I ain't never been called a brain trust before.
That's because we've never trusted what you thought.
But
it's okay. It's okay, brother. Welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Sir, I am well. Yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, Jeff.
My birthday is,
thank you, baby.
Yeah, my birthday is Tuesday.
We're Geminis here.
Yeah.
I'm a Taurus.
Thursday, sorry.
I'm going to start doing like Prince. I'm going to stop counting. Prince says, how many birthdays have you had?
Only old people do.
Oh,
Just
One.
Because you were only born once.
Born once.
That's why I call it a born day, because you didn't give birth on your birthday.
You stop counting and then you do something. I don't know.
Jeff
Supposedly
Brown,
it's good for the
642
skin.
years old. He just forgot. It's okay. It's okay, but happy belated birthday, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Man, appreciate you.
Wow.
And again, right next to him, one of the oldest human beings on planet Earth. But yet,
Wow.
a great man, a wise sage.
Whitey Lux.
Whitey Locks in the building, Dr.
love
Mark
that
Golston. What up?
Hi.
Hey, it's good to be here. It's good. I can hardly wait to. I'm game to find out about how to game your relationship.
Man, that's what black people been calling it for years.
Right?
Now, white people come up with a new fancy word, gamification.
And write books on it.
Jesus, write a book on it, and we got something, right?
Exactly.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of the Foxhole, Jesus Christ, look who has returned to the fold, beautiful as ever.
I feel so
wish you could-
spiritual.
I just
Jesus
wish you could
Christ.
see her walk in.
Thank you.
It's like God makes no mistakes.
Yes, it's worth getting slapped by your girl. It really is.
What?
Jeff hasn't changed.
It's worth the argument in the car.
It's worth the argument in the car.
want? Is that what you want? Yeah, that's what I want. Flat stomach and pretty feet. That's what I want. Now, I don't know about I'll spot you them sit-ups. I don't know what the hell you going to do about them hooves you walk around on.
She's from she's from Inglewood.
Yes,
she's
Lord.
a Gemini.
West Side.
She's been on many television shows. What is this? Family Time, Girlfriends, Days of Our Lives, Zane's The Jump Off films,
Yes.
Love for
Yes,
Sale,
yes.
Miss March, Johnson Family Vacation. It's Tangerine.
Well, you mispronounced my name. Thank you for that lovely intro, but you know
do
from
we pronounce
Foxhole
your name?
days, my name is pronounced Tangerine.
Well, I can't sing. Jesus.
Really? How does that work at the doctor's office?
That's how they call me in when I'm getting checked
Oh, God.
for STDs. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know how I went there. I don't know.
And scene.
Sorry.
Wow. So look who else we have here. Let's just transition as quickly as possible.
The celibate nympho in me slipped out, but I'm back now. I'm drawing you back.
Celibate Nympho. Oh, man. We just talked about you
Oh, my God.
the other day.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
Celibate.
Me and Corey Holcomb, we talked about you.
Ah, good old Corey Holcomb.
Yes.
I love you guys.
But our guest in the building, resident specialist. I'm telling you, I went to visit this dude last week, and my life changed. It's true. It's true. First time I've been able to get some sleep in I don't know how long. Let me just tell you a little bit about the brother. He's a consultant, an author, speaker. For over 15 years, he's been in the game. The game of what? He's a clinical hypnotherapist. He's a coach, a master coach even. Convince me, you know, I'm a skeptic.
You
I don't
are.
believe anything. You understand? Dude was cold though. Asked some questions, recontextualized some beliefs.
Recontextualized.
I'm just saying, took me somewhere else. Dude is cold-blooded, and he's a specialist of gamification. We're going to talk about it. Without further ado, Dr. Doc Barham in the building right now. You going to clap for
Guys,
him?
thanks for having me.
So, with that said, let's go back to the topic. Everybody's in the building. The Relationship ER Urgent Care Show. Can gamification be the ultimate solution for ailing relationships? First off, can we ask somebody what in the hell is gamification? Doc Barham, help us with that.
Sure. Gamification's really simple. It's just taking something and turning it into a game. So all games have these basic qualities about them. And there's a great book that's called Reality's Broken. And it's Jane McGonigal. And in there, what she talks about
You got to spell that last name, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
McGonigal.
I got to.
I'm going to go with mechanical.
I'm going to go with mechanical.
But if you look up Reality's Broken, it's a really good book. She talks about 4 primary things that all games share. And so they did a historical study of games, and they found that all games basically have a willing participant. All games have a set of rules, a goal or purpose, and they also have some sort of a feedback system.
Okay.
Right?
Pimp game, yeah.
So it's interesting if you ask people about life, you say, well, life is, fill in the blank. You say, well, life is a box of chocolates, or life's a roller coaster, or life is a school, or life is a whatever.
Or life is a bitch.
Right. Life's a bitch. You'll find that all of those things actually have those 4 qualities in them. Like a roller coaster has a goal or purpose, and you're a willing participant. It has a rule system and a feedback system, right? So whatever it is, you can look at life as a game. So if you are a spiritual being having a human experience and that life is a game, then you're here, you're born to play on your born day, right?
Interesting. Right? Interesting. Yeah.
Then what I find is that a lot of times people don't think of life as a game. They take it really seriously when they start getting into fear-based living.
Playing for keeps.
Wow. Fear-based living, yeah.
Right? When they get into survival mode. So when you think about it, if after you've got a roof over your head and you've got clothes on your back and food in your stomach and that kind of thing, you're basically safe, then you're free to thrive and you don't have to be in a survival mindset. So when people are in a game mindset, what happens is they play, right? And we make very, very different choices when we play as opposed to when we're really, really serious coming from a space of fear.
But what about, say, take the football analogy, right?
Yeah.
In the playoffs, although they're playing for keeps.
Right.
Right? So what if people take that same concept into relationship? Is that negative? Is that bad?
Well, if you think about it, you can choose what kind of game you want to play, right? And I think that's the main thing is that when people consciously choose the game they want to play, they're going to have a lot more fun. So if somebody wants to play a game like like football or other sports or things like that, those are what are known as zero-sum games.
Go deeper.
That means there's a winner and there's a loser.
There's
right?
winners and losers in relationship too, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, you can choose to play another game, which would be a non-zero-sum game. This is all from game theory. Remember the movie Beautiful Mind?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That guy was the guy who really helped bring about game theory, right? And he talked about these different kinds of games. Zero-sum games where there's a winner and loser, and that's a win-lose. That's a conflict-based game, which is fine, right? And then there's a win-win game, non-zero-sum game, and that's a totally different experience.
I want you to go deeper into non-zero sum. Does that mean I'm not looking for a particular outcome, I'm enjoying the journey?
Right. Yeah. Actually, what it really means is there's abundance. Right? There's enough for me, there's enough for you, there's enough for both of us. And also, we can create more. So in zero-sum games, right, there's a limited amount or a scarcity of things that we're competing for. So I got to get mine.
So the game's purpose is defeat for someone at some point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody's a loser at some point.
Interesting.
Now, the other thing is that in those games, one of the reasons that football and those kinds of things are fun is because they know they're playing a game.
I get it.
You
They
see? But
know
in relationships,
yeah.
what happens is people don't think of it as a game.
You know what's cool about this? Because
This is interesting.
when you start talking in a relationship about having rules, I don't think people like rules. But in a game, it's natural. You can't have a game without rules.
Right.
And so it sounds like this is a way to be able to safely put in something called rules that you both kind of respect and you play by. Whereas you bring up rules in a relationship, yeah, people nod, but they don't like to talk about rules in the relationship. It feels too stiff. But in a game, it's just natural. Mm-hmm. And so this is great. It's great.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah. I was just about to speak. How did you know, Gemini? It's interesting. I'm thinking about what you said about, black people or men in general have been playing games on Sisters since the beginning of time. They just didn't know that it was games. And you're saying, Doc, that games have to have willing participants. It's one of the guidelines of it actually being a game. Mm-hmm. But I know there's a lot of
negative connotation.
Right, of running game on a woman. But I will say that I read all those relationship books, from the Why Men Marry Bitches and He's Just Not That Into You. And there's a great one by Dr. Pearl Jr. that's called Black Women Need Love Too. And I took all that information, the Steve Harvey one, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. I took all that, and I guess you could say I ran game on the person I was dating because I took the information from what these people in loving relationships had said would work, and it actually did work. So I don't know if that's a bad thing that I ran game, but I trapped the guy, and he's not going anywhere now. So I gamified him based on what I had learned from other people's relationship experiences and what I had read in a bunch of different books. I think I read like 6 different books when I decided I wanted to settle down the celibate infancy. Yes, Jeff, you have a question already.
Well, there are a few words. There are a few.
Sounds like pimpery on a spiritual level.
Yes,
there are a few
spiritual
words
pimping
that ricochet off of your statement.
I trapped him.
Yes, I chose that word on purpose.
He's not going anywhere now.
Right.
Okay. Trap ricochets to me the word escape.
There's no escaping me.
She is one of the finest black widows I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Now refers to now. He's not going anywhere now. If believe me, if I'm trapped, I'm on some Shawshank stuff.
Yeah, he's not carving a hole. We're actually having a really good time. And one thing you said about setting rules, both doctors, we make agreements, because a lot of people get in relationships and they try to go by society's standards of what should be acceptable. But you actually have to talk about that with your partner and decide what the boundaries are, what's okay and what's not okay, as far as coming in late or looking at another woman's butt in front of me or different things like that, which I love. We point out butts together, but other people's relationship, that's unacceptable. You have to make those agreements out loud and agree to them and make your own rules in the gamification of the relationship.
There's this couple I know, and they're really happily married. Now, it took him 3 times and her the second time, and I said, what's the secret? And they said, and I didn't think about games, but I came into it. In a sense, what they were saying, and I'll add that word, is we both were married before, and that game was over. So what we do is we have ground rules that we both respect more than being right, because we know without them, having to be right costs us marriages, and we don't want to do that again. And so they've come up with ground rules like don't use words like never or always, just basic kind of things that just inflame people's stuff. Right. But it's interesting, because I think he would agree with it. Yeah, we both lost some games, and we don't want to lose another one.
And you know what I think also? I think we have to make the distinction between the ground rules and the projection of unrealistic expectations onto the partner.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, what I want you to be is my game rule. Do you understand what I mean? I want you to save me from myself. I have these expectations, and I didn't consult you. I chose you to come in and, help me get over whatever issue. But that's not gamifying your relationship. I think the point you made, Doc Barham, is willing participant.
Yes.
Right.
You have to be able to say, I'm ready to sit down at the table and establish some rules of engagement, not rules of identification. Because sometimes people are identified by what they want in the partner as opposed to actually connecting with the actual person. This is why I always say, never date your idea. Date a real person.
There you go.
And I know so many women who say, well, he disappointed me. Why? Because he didn't live up to my expectation. And I always say, well, you never met him. You were dating your expectation. and they get hurt after that. Somebody call us, 323.
What's really great about this is that I think without rules or without a game or a place to have rules, when you say to someone, are you willing, to be in this relationship, a lot of people say, well, I'm willing, but it depends.
Right.
And I think when you turn it into a game with rules, there's no it depends. It's like, let's participate, let's follow the rules, and let's see if we can both win.
I think a big part of it, too, is that everybody comes preloaded with their game.
Let's go. I like that.
So when you come to a relationship, you come with all your baggage from your previous relationships, plus all of the stuff that you learned perhaps from your family system or your parents or those kinds of things. You watch them, you learn from them, right, about the game they played in their relationship, and you bring that into your current relationship. So what happens is there's a lot of unconscious games that are going on, and the idea of gamifying something is to bring it into conscious awareness so that someone has the opportunity to be willing and stop playing it pretending like they're an unwilling participant.
Wow.
That's dope. That reminds me of the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's not about relationships, but it's actually just about creating the life that you want to create and realizing that, life is a game and that you can win and you make that choice every day to win. And so it's a great book, a great read.
But life sometimes can become a narcissistic game where I have to win at all costs, even if it means my partner loses. And a lot of times that's what happens. That's what the doc was talking about, the old game, which is a win-lose model, versus the new game, which is a win-win. How many people out there practice win-win politics in their relationship?
Well, it's like Mark was saying, like where it's about being right, that's the old game.
That's what I was just going to say.
Right? If it's not about being right, then you're talking about the new game. Right? How do we actually consciously come together and continuously find a win-win creatively for both of us? That takes engagement.
Couple things. One, the word game, especially when I grew up.
You've been running game for years.
Yeah.
You're still running game.
Still running game.
Oh, come on, from Chicago. The word game has always had a negative kind of connotation. And as I got older, I came up with the acronym of grown-ass man energy, which is what basically I try to live in a closed loop. That the things I do, the votes I make for myself, votes for health, votes for consciousness, these are votes I try to make, and I try to make the person that I have voted for a whole, sane, deal-withable person. Deal-withable person.
Just in case.
So that I can deal with my woman in my relationship. Now, as far as throwing away right and wrong, I disagree with that. I don't think I have to be right or she has to be wrong. We have to agree on what is outside of us, what tenets outside of us are right and wrong, and then aim at that. And you keep me aimed in it, I keep you aimed at it.
Well, look, you bring up a great point,
I don't understand what you mean.
Wait, no,
about
he
the
brings up a
things
great point.
outside of us.
I see where Jeff is going. Here's a great point. And Doc and Dr. Barham and Goulston, and Tangerine and Jeff, is the paradigm he was just talking about, the concept of let's agree to disagree. Is that part of the old game or the new game?
I would say that's a new game principle because that allows a person to have their own opinion, right? And if you can still love somebody, when they have a difference of opinion, that's loving somebody, right?
Wow.
That means they don't need to be you, right? That person has a separate individuality and autonomy that you respect. So if you can agree to disagree, I don't agree with my wife all the time. But if I can say, well, that's your opinion, this is my opinion, and you don't think I still love you.
Yeah, and you don't think any less of her because you disagree with what she's saying.
That's right. So it doesn't always have to be my way, or it doesn't always have to
some of this is like building a muscle because you can, if you think of difference of opinion, that can rapidly become disagreement, then it can become argument, then it can become war. And I think to be able to practice staying at a difference of opinion without it sort of escalating. I think that's kind of a muscle you can build. But something I wanted to say, because
There's a lot of weak relationships out there, Dan.
Something I haven't visited for some weeks is the ignorant white question of the day. So we ready for that?
Do you have one?
I have.
Do you have one? Because I got a word for you. I got a ghetto word for you.
When I heard Jeff talk about game is negative, I'm wondering if that's sort of an urban kind of thing. I'm not saying that
Really?
white people.
Is it black enough for you, Doc? Jesus, the
it's
ignorant
not-
white
Ignorant
question.
white
Here we
question.
go.
Hold on.
He did
Hold on.
preface it.
'Cause come on, let him do his thing. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Ain't
Christ
nobody
alive.
ran game like Whitey. Whitey has ran game for thousands of years.
Let's
now.
just be real.
But we don't use the term game.
The gamification
with
of the
what
Negro.
Whitey has done.
Okay, no, Whitey games entire races. Okay, that's a different
Yes.
game. Okay, That's-
Entire
But
culture.
we're talking about one-on-one gaming where you're taking
Civilizations.
where you're taking advantage of another person. Are you gaming me? So I'm just wondering if there's a cultural kind of thing. No, and I admit it. I think white people have gamed. I think America's gamed a lot of stuff that has backfired and whatever.
Social
But-
security
but a
cards,
one-on-one
Will you
relationship.
apologize?
I wonder if that's more the vernacular of black culture than white culture.
Probably.
Just one-on-one.
Well, probably.
I don't know.
I think the
That's how you had a
vernacular is
strong
yes.
reaction.
The
I think-
actual act of it is no. But the word
but I
gaming
think-
is yes. It's urban.
I think the vernacular of white people is real influence.
And you can get that book for only $5.
$2.99.
Oh, $2.99.
On Kindle.
It's not a game.
Right? I think that white people do it that way because to me, gamifying, and we talk about this all the time. We could go into it after we take this break. But white people do things like we will pillage your village. We will rewrite your culture.
Yeah, we'll drop
put
off
you
these
into
Bibles.
cultural amnesia. And then when you get angry and pissed off, we will call you uncivilized.
Yeah.
Now that's
No.
game for your ass
I
right
don't know if
there.
they're ready, Zoe. I don't know if
you
they're
can
ready.
you can vent, but you must do it respectfully.
So am I,
Yes, it's free speech as long as you don't say anything against what we like.
Wait, so I got to make a correction. So in this last book, Just Listen, maybe that's a whiteification. Maybe what it really should have been said is maybe it should have
I
been
don't like that
shut
word.
the F up instead of Just Listen.
Yeah,
It could
and you would
have
have
sold
had
copies more.
Right, you would have sold 13 million copies, all black people. Shut the fuck
Shut
up.
the fuck up.
Yeah. You could have
I'd buy
called
that.
it Peep Game.
Pete Gang. Listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to try to gamify some major relationship issues.
Call in, folks.
Oh, Jesus. 323-965-1600. We'll be back in 2.2. Holla.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pit Bull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, So What Mornings back in the building. Hey, we're talking about it. Relationship ER. If your relationship is in trouble, if you're having issues, I think this is a unique approach because gamification is taking off in education. A lot of people are trying to gamify the classroom. What does gamification means? They're using game mechanics, right?
Right.
They're using game mechanics. And what I mean by game mechanics is think of PlayStation or Xbox where you can create a profile. And say you're a kid. When you create a profile, it's your color, you pick the scheme, you know, you can even create your own
Avatar.
Your own avatar. You can create your own person or character in the game. Maybe like, say, Warcraft, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so immersive, but it's also autonomous. It's you. Now, education hasn't changed since the 1700s, where you got one guy in the front as the authority, and there's no aspect of you in that process. It's you listen, this is the boss, and you get the test right, or you get the high score, and you pass, right? Now, they're trying to gamify the classroom to add the elements of that immersion into the learning process. And we do that on our cell phones, right? The doc over here showed me a bunch of apps. Hey, you want to learn how to meditate? Here, let's get your heart rate. Let's show you how you slow it down. Well, there's an app for that. Then you get the app, and then you put your finger on the back of the light, and you go, breathe deeply. Just see how you controlled it? Wow. Did you see that? Yeah, you just gamified breathing. Wow.
Gamified breathing.
So right, you start seeing all of these, tricks through technology to take you to a place spiritually that if you didn't have the tool, it seemed nebulous or difficult to achieve. But then once gamifying it came into play, you found how easy it was, right?
Right.
So this is what's happening right now. So we're trying to offer gamification techniques for fixing your broke-ass relationships. 323-965-1600. We have a caller on the line right now. Let's go.
Hello.
Yo, Lex Kelly, you're in the building. What's up, man?
Hi, Lex.
What's going on, people? How we doing?
We good,
Fantastic.
man.
That's what I like to hear. First of all, man, I like to say, man, thank you all. Thank you, Zoe. You guys for having this conversation. It's well needed. I mean, you don't know how many conversations and panels that I sit on where folk is just completely oblivious to what they need to do in order to create a solid foundation when it comes within themselves or in their relationship. So I definitely want to applaud you, man, for taking the time out to have this platform. I know you do it throughout every show, and it's a build-up, but having a show that directly talks about resolutions and solutions to the issues is key. So I definitely want to applaud you for that, man.
So look, Lex, how can we gamify some of the hogwash that's going on in your situation? Talk to us.
Well, one of the things that I think that I always preach is, we have to figure out how to get in touch with who we are. Because especially in this day and age, nobody really knows who they are. We're either, just like you say, we're an idea of what we want to be or what we think is correct. And so what ends up happening is throughout our whole life, we're creating efforts to be something that's not in us. We're trying to be something that's not we're not naturally innate to be. And then on top of that, we try to create relationships on top of that. So, really at the end of the day, it's really about trying to figure out how do we get back to the essence of who we are as an individual, and then through that be able to look at somebody else, and like you guys were speaking before, and love them unconditionally for who they are because you love you for who you are.
Well, Lex, we really love the fact that you listen to the show and that you're able to chime in, but you didn't answer the question.
Maybe
We'd really like to know what's wrong with your shit.
Maybe it's perfect. It sounds perfect.
You got a future in
really,
politics.
It's like, how do you gamify?
That's your question.
Getting to know yourself. Outside of just getting some hardcore knowledge and information and getting some guidance and some mentorship. I mean, it's a very complex situation. I mean, somebody's sitting here trying to tell you how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so Lex, are you out of touch with yourself? It's
You
really
know what?
easy.
I'm
You just
gonna
go
say
in
this
the
right now, I'm in the
bathroom.
most comfortable place in my life right now. At one point in my life, I was very much out of touch with myself. But right now, I think I'm at the most in touch with myself consciously. And I say that consciously because in 5 or 10 years, I may feel a little bit differently. you know. But right now, consciously, I feel really good about who I am and what I stand for and how I feel about myself and other people.
Lex, when you show up in a relationship and you're more in touch with yourself, how are you different now, being more in touch with yourself than the way you showed up before when you weren't in touch with yourself?
Well, right now, I think I have a deeper definition of who I am as a man. As far as, you know, maybe I'll say as little as about 5 years ago, I just had an idea of what I should be as a man. I really didn't have any guidance or mentorship. I didn't have a father figure growing up, so I was pretty much just like following suit with, you know, the social cultural influence. And I got to say, when I had my daughters, it kind of it made me snap too. It said, you know what,
that'll grow your ass.
I hear that a lot, actually.
Yeah. When I had my daughters, it was like there's something more. I'm here for a deeper reason. You know, I mean, you know. So once I had my daughter, I said, you know what? Let me start figuring out. Let me start researching. Let me start looking for some guidance and some mentorship. And then, of course, you know, once you start searching, when you seek, you will find. Then doors start opening up. You know, one door opens up to another, and then you just kind of get this self-enlightenment. You know, and then it just grows, and you nurture it. So, you know, right now, I have I have a lot of confidence in who I'm supposed to be, and that helps me when it comes to raising my daughters. It helps me when it comes to mentoring other young men. It helps me when it comes to building relationships, both business and personal, because I know I have substance. I know that there's good in me.
Well, brother, we appreciate the call, man. Thanks again for reaching out. 323-965-1600.
Confidence is sexy.
Can we get somebody to call in that's fucked up?
Yeah, and maybe this is
Somebody's
it.
got a problem out there.
Dyneck. I don't know if that's your name. Dyneck. I hope your neck is alive. From Los Angeles, talk to us right now.
No, my name is Denise from Los Angeles, California.
Denise. I don't know.
Sanique.
We got a little dyslexia here.
Sanique with the CY.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Hi, Sanique. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for calling in. Do you have a problem in a relationship that you'd like us to help you gamify?
Absolutely. I'm trying to figure out how I can make my mate be more committed.
More committed, as in focused on just you and not cheating, or committed? What do you mean?
Yes, not cheating.
You can't.
You can't. But that's what we believe. What does Doc Barham say, though?
Yeah.
Let's get that.
I think that one of the most important things for any relationship, or if you look at it as a game, is, and I see this a lot in couples, is what are the values that you have and what are the values that he has? If you actually simply write down like your top 10 values that you actually live by, in order of priority, and you ask him to do the same, I think you'll probably find that the places where your values don't match is the places where you have conflict in your relationship. So, for example, if I'm in a relationship with my wife and my number one value, which this used to be the case, is ambition, like career ambition, and her number one value is family, then we are guaranteed to have conflict and get into win-lose, zero-sum games. And what actually ends up happening, since we have a marriage, is that we end up both losing.
Wow.
Right? So what happens is those things, that game that I said we already come with, right? Values are what make all games worth playing. And so when you take your values and their values and you list them and you match them, you'll see exactly where it is that you guys are really having issues.
So once you find out, obviously they have different values if he's cheating and she doesn't want him to. So at this point, it's impossible, according to the other gentleman on the panel, to make him be faithful? So she needs to find someone else?
It's always impossible to make somebody do something.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, sure.
I remember you. Hi.
Why not?
Come on.
I just came up with a game. It's called the analogy game. When you can't get the other person to understand how you feel, get them to feel how you feel. So maybe what you can do is say to this guy, point out all the people that are lying to him and get him to feel what that feels like. And pick out people that are just lying to him behind his back, and he can't stand it. And when he's in the middle of feeling how bad that is to be lied to, ask him, would you want to make anyone you care about feel exactly the way you feel right now? So if you can sort of get him to feel what it feels like to be lied to, And you may luck out, and he might say, no, I wouldn't want to make anyone feel this way. Well, can you see how you might be doing that to me? And if you don't like the way it feels, don't do it to me.
Or you can cheat on him and let him catch you so he can feel how it feels to be cheated on.
That's more of a fun game.
And then you can ask those same questions. You see how it feels when somebody else is inside of me?
That's a hell of a game.
Would you want anybody else to make you feel like that? And then take it that way. I don't know how much that will work, because the men that I know that cheat, they don't do it because they don't care about the woman that they're with. It's nothing to do with the woman that they're married to or that they're dating. It's completely separate. It's just physical. So you have to really understand a man and why he goes off and has sex with someone else and comes back and loves you.
Because he doesn't feel like he's cheating at all. He says,
right.
I love you, but I'm like President Clinton. I did because I could.
Wow. I also think that a lot of times what it really is about is fear of intimacy.
Go on,
Go deeper.
Well,
you listening, Sanique?
I think that why is a man going and sleeping with a lot of women? Well, it's clear that he's not engaging in really deep feeling in the relationships. Like if he goes and has sex with other people, he's having sex. So if he's not doing that in the relationship that he has, there's a fear of intimacy going on.
I have a question.
I think that like a lot of men are very much conditioned in our culture to honestly be really scared of intimacy. To be vulnerable.
Sanique was saying something.
Jeff Brown does not agree. Jeff,
Jesus, I've been standing here waiting across the street, and cars just keep coming.
That's because you ain't at the crosswalk.
I am. Oh my God!
Quit jaywalking.
Okay,
Get to the point.
Right. All of this advice, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion, all of this advice has been ambiguous at best and dangerous at worst.
Why?
Okay? First off, if you let's just handle you cheating on him. If you were to go and cheat on him, you have now screwed over your own moral code to dip down where he is.
Because you're cheating on yourself.
Because because the concept of cheating has nothing to do with the other partner primarily. Primarily, I'm not faithful to my wife just because I don't want her to leave, just because I don't want to give her a disease, just because I don't want to lie. I am faithful to my wife because I told her I would be. So I'm being faithful to myself, number one. Two, there are only two things you can do to stop a person from cheating on you. One, find a good person. Two, treat a good person good. The rest of it's bullshit. Okay?
Well.
Wow. What you are gambling with right now with this dude and trying to hopefully, and the doc brought up a great word, luck. Hopefully you will luckily key into something with this dude. This dude know good and hell well what he is doing. You are flirting with your very health with regard to knowing that this dude is cheating on you. Find a way. Get some guys. We're a little different. We screw our way through it when we break up. Well, get you some girls, get you some coffee, get you some friends, and sit down and be this plain with this dude. This is what I want from this relationship. If this is not what you want, well, again, you actually are past that. You should pack.
But Jeff, what if the girl can gamify her own mind by saying, the belief that I have that men are monogamous doesn't work? What if he's just being a man? Now, I've heard women say, before this term gamification or gamify or any of this was around, and I say, well, you got to change your idea about what you think men do or how they behave, regardless of what they claim they stand on. Because what Jeff described was the behavior of a self-realized good person. Let's just be honest. That's at the end of the bell curve. That's not everybody. That's a rare experience.
That's what you want. You can't deny what it is you want from a person just because of what the bell curve looks like.
Okay, so I have all men on this panel, and out of the four men, are you saying? Is it possible for a man to be faithful? Jeff, you're saying it is.
Absolutely. And you talk about a dude.
Doctors, you're saying yes?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
I've had more cooter than Nickelback's drummer. And I'm telling you that once you get it in your head that that's not what you want to do, but you have to get to that place.
Okay.
Monogamy is a place that you start from. That's a place that a man gets.
So basically, the advice we're giving to Sanique from Los Angeles is that the values of the person that she's dating are not the same as her values, and perhaps she should choose someone that has those same values in the same order of priority.
Or, in a simpler form, he's playing a different game.
There you go.
Yes, I like how you tie that in.
That's my argument with him. We're not on the same level.
Well, what does he argue? What does he say?
Look, you can, when you have a game, right? Get clear about what game you want to play, and then you invite someone to play. If they don't want to play by the rules, then they're playing a different game, and you cut them loose. It's
but
pretty,
then there's
pretty
the
clear.
the deception of the person playing the same game as you, and then when you find out, you're already involved with this
It's
person.
never too late, though.
And they don't want to leave. Like, that's the issue, and he's coming back.
But it takes two to be in a relationship. You can't be forced to be in one. So if he's not playing your game, then the game is over.
Why is everybody pussyfooting around this?
Why don't you say it, Jeff?
Sanique, you are fucking over you. Period. There is no deception. This dude is doing the danky wanky behind your back. What else do you need to hear? Do you need to hear, yes, you are HIV positive? Do you need to hear, yes, put this cream on it? Do you need to hear, yes, she's pregnant?
Right.
Before you figure out that he is dipping his wick elsewhere. The next time it happens has nothing to do with him. Walk in the bathroom, close the medicine cabinet, and look at that person standing there, because that's who's fucking you.
Again, great call. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Callers,
Sanique.
please
That was
reach
fabulous.
out. 323-965-1600. Again, I think we're getting close to something.
Yes,
we're
and I
getting
hope she
close
breaks
to
up with
something
him
special.
if she's not happy.
Well, let's not hope that.
If she's not happy.
But listen, I believe happiness is an internal movement.
That's true.
So, with that said, even in transactional psychology, they talk about scripts, a loser script and a winner script. I believe those scripts that play in your mind, that tape, whether it's, I was just talking to a young lady on the way up here, and she's having relationship issues. And one of her issues was, I can't get people to open up, but I want people to open up.
One of the games...
Hold on, Doc. Listen.
He was in the middle of a point.
See this right here?
Just listen.
I thought you wrote this.
Or the new title was Shut the Fuck Up.
The new book, Shut the Fuck Up, by Dr. Mark Golston.
Right.
To Dr. Mark Golston.
Ain't even listening. I get... Let the doctor talk. Get shit. No, but what I told her was, I asked her a few questions, and what we arrive at is she's closed. But you want openness. You can't want what you aren't.
That's so true.
So once you come to a space where you recognize that you're closed and that you're magnetizing this concomitant experience, you're bringing it in. That's why I say, if you're closed, but you're asking for openness,
right?
You're like a lighthouse for closed people.
That's why I always talk to my girlfriends, because a lot of my friends are single and they're complaining, and I say, well, what are you looking for in a man? Tell me quickly without thinking about it, top 5 things. And then they're like, oh, he has to be super honest, 6-pack abs, an avid reader, great cook, goes to church every Sunday.
Shit I am.
And then I say, that's great. Are you those 5 things? When's the last time you were at the gym? How often do you read? Are you a great cook? What are your abs looking like down there, muffin top? So if you're not these things that you're looking for, you're not gonna reflect them if you're not projecting it. So when you get comfortable with who you are and just start doing things, things that make you happy, hobbies, whatever, you'll attract more people that are like yourself.
Mark Golston, talk to us.
I think
we forgot it.
No. There was a game that Sanique is playing that a lot of people play when they're stuck in a relationship that isn't working, and that's what happened. What happens is they can't let go of attaching to a future that they think will happen, and it's not going to happen. But they're holding on to it, and so that's why a lot of people tolerate a lot of crap, because they are attached to something that they think is going to happen, and so they look the other way. And what I would say to her and other listeners is, if you're in a situation because you can't let go of some future that you think is going to happen, what do you think the chances are of their future really happening? Because it's better to let go of that unreality sooner than later.
That's why I always say most people are loyal. We talked about it in the last show about the loyalty concept. Most people are loyal to the achievement of their dreams and whatever means it takes to get there. They're not necessarily loyal to the people who actually help you get there. They're loyal to the outcome. And a lot of times people get into relationship for a specified outcome. So, oh, Jesus, you failed on your promises. Well, I'm no longer loyal. I'm out. I didn't get what you said you were going to give me. So I say, to me, that's not relationship. Doc Barham, talk to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that if you listen to what she was saying when she called, she was talking about the things that she was attached to, right? For example, she was expressing that, well, sort of like, well, how can I get him to change? Right? So she was focused on the other person as opposed to focus on herself, like you guys were talking about. That's number one. But she wasn't defining the game that she wanted, because beliefs are the rules in a game. Yeah, your belief system is the rule set in a game. That's really what it is.
Right.
And so a lot of times we have a lot of unconscious beliefs about how relationships would work. And so that's what I noticed that she was talking about. And what Mark was talking about is being attached to something in her mind, which she thinks she was going to get. Right? Which is based upon, well, hopefully someday he'll come around to this.
Wow.
Right? He'll come around to it someday. Instead of saying, this is what I demand. This is it. You're either in or you're out. And those are really clear boundaries.
And I'm good with
couple of points.
And in order to have a healthy game, like if you want a healthy relationship, you have to make a safe place, right? That's what boundaries are about.
Right. I talked about that
If you play
earlier.
any game, the game space is the boundaries. Whether it's tennis or a football field or whatever, those boundaries are very clear. If you don't have them, you can't even play a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And to add on
That's
to
what
the
those
doc,
lines are. Those lines are the rules. Stay here. This is where we play the game. Over here, we don't play the game.
wow.
Right,
And to
right.
add on to Doc Barham here, I always tell people to challenge your beliefs. Now, understand, belief system can be abbreviated down to BS. Learn when your belief system is BSing you. You have to be able to
Thank you.
discern that. Most people don't challenge the rules of the game. They don't challenge their origin. They don't say, you know what, I was raised in an abusive system, an abusive home, environment. I was raised in that, and now I have this kind of neurotic desire to create a perfect relationship or a perfect situation, which is opposite of what I came from. A lot of times people don't see that as a hurtful process, because you're creating something from a space of hurt. Well, what you wind up doing is creating a fortress around the hurt. Do you
So once
understand?
you realize the problems in your past, what do you do to move forward?
First and foremost, you cannot demand anything. This is what because the doc spoke on the Doc Barham. She's demanding certain things. You can't demand anything from anybody. You get what you energetically command. Where if your
Right.
energy is low, you're commanding.
Get what your energy commands.
You get what your energy commands.
Period.
And I'm just saying, that's what happens. And if you don't tune into it, the doc had a hell of an experiment he showed me on how, and I showed my son this, Doc, on how to feel your energy field around
right,
you.
right.
When you rub your hands together real fast and then you create that ball in the
Right.
center. It was crazy. And then it gets stronger if you think about things you love. And then it gets weaker when you think about things that hurt you. Like you can almost can't feel it.
Is that like when you put your arms out and if somebody asks you a question and you lie
He
about the
did that.
answer, you can't keep your arm up against the pressure of them
Man,
pushing it down?
he
It's the
did
same
that.
concept.
It was
'Cause your
crazy.
body can't lie the way our mouths can.
I'm trying to tell you. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, more craziness.
I'm gonna try both of these.
Jesus
So
Christ.
what?
So what? Morning, we doing it. Callers, we coming to you.
Okay, I'm rubbing my hand.
Oh,
to beat up
lots
my
of
baby
callers.
mama boyfriend. I'm about to beat up my baby mama.
She's back.
Oh,
Tangerine.
oh, hey, you about to be
Shout out
your
to
baby
Bobby
mama.
Ross. That's dope.
Ladies and gentlemen, back in the building, So What Mornings, we're talking about how to gamify your relationship. Can you gamify criticism? Can you gamify blaming
Sure.
for a win-win outcome? Who is in a relationship where you're always being blamed? Can you gamify accountability? That's interesting, right? These are issues that we face in relationships every day. Sister called in and asked for a gamification solution for cheating. Is it even possible? 323-965-1600. We got callers online. Soul Wonder. Holla at me. What's your issue?
What's going on, Brother Zoe, Cousin Jeff?
What's up?
Hey, so.
Going on, both the doctors. Is that Tangerine?
Tangerine. Hello, Soul Wonder. How are you?
Oh my God, so she's right. She is finest Persian cat hair.
She is.
Oh, thank you
Fine
for
as
that.
Persian cat hair is what he said.
Thank you very much for that compliment.
Yeah, she is fine.
Wow.
Hilarious.
I don't pretty much have too many issues. The only issue that I have in my relationship, I've been married going on 10 years now. My issue is still allowing baggage from previous relationships, relationships with my parents, allowing that into my relationship. That's my only issue for myself, being personal accountable. How can I gamify that out?
Doc Barham, how can he gamify that out of his relationship? But remember, gamification is about win-win. So there has to be some kind of consolation or compromise that you're willing to give up too, right, Doc?
Well, I guess what I would say is if you know what rules you learned in your growing up, right, in your family system or in the previous relationships that you were in, and if you know that you're letting them affect you, like the way that you think and feel and react and behave in your relationship, if you can talk to your partner about that and you can make a game of helping you by asking them to keep you mindful of when you start doing those things. For example, with my wife, she has her family system that she grew up in and I have mine, and they look very, very different. And what I notice in our marriage is that we unconsciously sort of try to, it's almost like there's a survival of the fittest of those two family systems wanting to live on. So I notice the ways in which I act like my dad or I act like my mom. And I've talked to my wife about it, and I said, okay, well, I have a tendency to do this because I learned that from watching my dad, or I have a tendency to do that because I grew up and, my mom was a very, very emotional person, and I can be that way and sometimes. And if I tell her, then she knows to look out for it. And so now what happens is a point of conflict becomes a bridge point where we can actually come together. And then Aviva shares with me, right? Okay, well, these are the things that happened growing up in my family system, and I tend to react this way, or I tend to do that. Would you help me to not fall asleep in that regard?
Aviva.
Yeah. That's my wife.
That's
okay,
baby mama.
okay.
So would you say
what happened is that we both became willing participants in this game, and what we did is rather than use those things that normally cause relationships to blow apart, which are the differences, we actually use them as a point of working together to support one another in our own growth.
Have you heard
I
of
do the same thing.
Have you heard of
That makes sense?
Yeah, I
such a
do that.
thing as a sameness person versus a difference person?
Yeah, that's a really good point. There are people who see the world in different ways. For example, I tend to see things in terms of similarities, how things are like other things.
Similar, right?
Yeah, a really simple thing you could do is with your partner, you want to play a little game, pull out a handful of pocket change, and put it in the palm of your hand or their hand, and ask them, what are the relationships of these coins to one another?
They're all silver.
Right. Or round.
They're all
or,
round.
American currency, or all this, that, or the other. That's a person who tends to sort by similarity.
The difference person is they're of different denominations.
That's right.
They're different sizes.
different ages, different shapes, different.
They all make up parts of the dollar that's about to collapse. What kind of person is that?
Talk.
So what happens though is
Conspiracy
this:
theorist.
is a person who sees things in similarity will get triggered by someone who sees them in terms of difference. They'll make it personal. Like even like me as a kid growing up, my mother is what you would call a different sorter. So she would tend to say "but" a lot, or always find the exception.
That's true,
whatever
but
it was. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Rather than go yes and, she would say "but." And so I would get triggered, and I would say, "You're such a wet blanket. You're such a drag. Why are you always raining on my parade?" But when I began to understand that that's just the way my mom makes sense of things, I stopped making it personal.
My mom would have
getting emotionally triggered.
That's what I was.
It's like the Four Agreements. You brought up a book by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., but his father wrote the book, The Four Agreements, and one of those agreements is don't take anything personal.
Right.
So a lot of the times we have arguments because nothing, Buddhists believe nothing is good or bad, it just is.
Right.
We go through all the drama if somebody died because we feel bad that they're gone, but they're just actually gone. If you break up with somebody, you don't have to cry. If something goes, if you lose your job, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
If somebody, in your relationship does something that you don't like, don't take it personal.
Right.
It starts within yourself. If you find the happiness within yourself and tell them the boundaries and you guys talk through things, you don't have to have the misery that we tend to create on a regular basis.
Wow. So gamification, to simplify for people that are tuning in, would be, if you disagree, tell me, Doc, the objective viewing and rebuilding, tearing down and rebuilding of old, outdated ideas.
Well, I would say that the
rules of engagement.
The culture we grow up in, that we have grown up in, is primarily what I would call old game. Right? It's primarily this win-lose kind of culture. If you just look at our culture, it's that all the sports are like that. And I think that as a culture, what we're doing is we're growing, we're evolving into a new game that's much more about win-win. Right? And I think that's where people will find happier relationships and thriving. And when you make it into a game, then people are engaged and they have fun playing, rather than being unconscious about a game they're already playing.
And it just seems like the old game is based in scarcity and the new game is based in abundance. There's enough.
Right.
Callers, we're online. James, talk to me.
Hey, man, I was calling, and first off, I want to say what's up to everybody, like yourself, Zoe.
Hey,
and,
James.
That first lady that y'all had on, she needs to go and headbutt the sharpest knife she has in her kitchen.
Headbutt a knife?
That's so harsh, James. OMG.
Oh, my God.
Christ.
Listen, I was so happy to hear Jeff just stop and wait his turn and just let her know what the real deal was.
Waiting your turn, it works. Go ahead.
She's sitting back knowing her man is cheating and waiting for a reason. That's just ridiculous.
Wow.
I used to be in a relationship like that with all the games and everything, and I sat down with my lady and we just had a long discussion, and we came down to it that we needed 3 key things to make the relationship work: communication, of course, honesty, and understanding. We've been good for 3 years.
Wow. Good job, man.
Good job.
Next year, you guys will be seniors. Appreciate the call. Appreciate it. Keisha.
Sounds boring.
He's a junior right now. No, he's a junior. 3 years. Keisha, you're on the line. Holler at us.
Hey, Keisha.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Groovy.
What's going on?
All right. My thing is, I was calling in regards to the female caller that called earlier. The thing about it is I went through a situation where my second marriage ended with cheating. He cheated on me and unfortunately got the young lady pregnant on top of it.
Wow.
So my thing with her, I hope she's still listening. The thing about it is if a man is going to cheat, he's going to do it because he wants to. Now, the thing, if you think you're going to change that situation, it's very unlikely you're going to change that situation. The only way you will change it, you got to walk away. Your life has to be the most important thing first and foremost, because the first thing I did, I went and got tested for everything under the sun. And I went through that for 6 months.
You good?
Because I was not playing. When you play Russian roulette with somebody's life, somebody's very existence, something's wrong. That's not love. I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't care what nobody says.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
And I want to play devil's advocate when you finish, Jeff.
No, sister. I think I applaud you first for having the strength to walk away. But what a lot of people try to do is make love this perfect thing, and we're imperfect beings. I believe that love is only as good as the giver.
Ooh, okay. Go deeper, Jeff.
Like Ike Turner. A lot of people want to say he didn't love Tina. I disagree. I think he loved Tina dirty draws. The problem was Ike's love come with a left hook. You have to decide. You have to be able to look and see if somebody got shit floating in they love. If they do, then that love ain't good enough for you. And
that's a great book title.
Is there
shit floating in your love?
In your love.
Shit floating in your love. Let me write that down.
Shitty love float.
Thank you, Tangerine. You're my muse.
I'll have the shit love float. Shit.
Well, my question was if I can play devil's advocate or angel's advocate. We talked about setting the list of the values that are important to you. What if monogamy is not a big deal in your relationship? What if the honesty and communication and all that stuff is there, family, ambition, but what if you're swingers? Or what if you're in an open relationship and you both have agreed that that's okay?
That's not the same thing.
But I want to talk about that because she was saying, well, now she has to get tested. She's scared. There was a pregnancy involved. But what if it's two consenting adults who are very responsible? You know, there's safe sex when it's outside of the relationship. What if they really love each other, but every now and then they go do a wild party or something to feed their wild name?
That's not the same thing.
And that's a new set of rules, correct?
That is not 85% of the world.
They're playing,
85% of the world is, look here, if you go get some out of this, that's cheating.
Right.
Now, if you have made these rules, then
right, they're playing Naked Twister.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that people know that was my example of what I brought up earlier. You set your own rules in your relationship, your own agreements, and maybe the person that Sanique is dating, our first caller, he needs to date someone who is okay with a little outside sex here and there.
But what I find, and there's research to support this, all high-functioning relationships typically have flexible beliefs. And I find the more beliefs and the more inflexible those beliefs are, the more the conflict.
I have a flexible relationship.
Even if you so-called are in agreement with those beliefs. This is what I find. Because what happens is this. If you created a relationship template, right? A bunch of beliefs when you were 16 and you're 32 and you're still going off of those beliefs, but you've changed as a person. Now you're trying to play a game that you've outgrown.
Motown Philly back again. You still doing the Running Man in the club?
Exactly. Maria's on the line. She's been holding on for a while. St. Louis in the building. Holler at us.
Hola, Maria.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What up?
I'll make this quick because though I know you don't like when people get on there and just waste their breath.
I'm glad you respect that.
Thank you, Maria.
First thing I want to say is excuse me if I sound out of breath. I'm at work right now, and I'm a mail carrier, so I'm walking.
Okay.
Watch out for them dogs.
Hope you got your mace.
Second thing was, I got my dog mace. Second thing was, my partner and I were supposed to call him together, but his punk pussy ass, I'm calling him out right now.
His punk pussy ass? Okay.
Wow. You going to disrespect your man like that?
I'm sorry?
It's
you
done,
disrespecting
Jeff.
your man like that?
It's done.
It's done.
I mean,
it's over.
He really, this is where our issue comes in. And I'm just saying it in jest. I'm joking with him. I love him to death.
I can
we were
too.
supposed to call in together to try to at least get some insight and some third-party perspective on what's going on. So you're just going to, unfortunately, hear my side. I think our biggest issues are the three things that the young man earlier talked about in the beginning: communication, trust, and understanding. So we're trying to, because we are both literally hanging on by a string. And
especially since he didn't call in.
Somebody who, I mean, our consciousness, our souls, however you want to put it, we link up so well. You know, he's shown me things that I've never experienced before. And I think we were meant to meet to do great things together.
Hang this bottle on the door.
Well, let me ask the doc this. Stay with us, Maria. I'm glad you hung on, and make sure you squirt that dog with some of it.
Just because he's little. Spray that little dog. Spray him in the face.
Tell by the bark, right?
My apologies.
I want to hear
die.
You ain't shit, Jeff.
So let me ask Doc Barham this. How can we gamify communication issues? So say...
Is that her question?
No, hold on. Because I think this leads to what she was talking about. So
okay.
Let me set it up. How can we gamify communication issues? Like, there's an issue that we want to talk about. One person is say they're collaborative, but the other person is avoidant? How do we gamify it to get them on the same page where the person who doesn't want to talk about it can feel safe enough to open up and talk about it? How do we gamify communication issues?
Well, I think that communication is probably the key thing in any relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So I know that with my wife, a lot of communication is not just in talking, but in things that we do together around the house, right? Where we demonstrate in a dialogue with one another. For example, things like washing the dishes, taking out the garbage, walking the dog, doing the laundry, vacuuming the house, or whatever it is, taking our stepson to school. Those are all things that I see as little games. And there's places where, for example, I don't know, we have water delivered to our house. It's a 5-gallon bottle in glass, and my wife is 4'11" and she's incapable of lifting it. Now, I could, if I wanted, get really upset by the fact that I always have to be the guy who always have to lift the water bottle. Why do I always have to, right? And I could say that's not fair. Or we can talk about it and we could say, okay, look, here's the game. You're never going to be able to lift that water bottle. So would you be willing to support me and ask me nicely, right? Because a lot of what she used to do was be like, would you change the water? Would you change the water? Right? So in that communication...
An expectation, entitlement. Yeah, you're the man. Change the water.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I don't see a problem with
Instead
that.
of saying, honey, we make a joke out of it. She says, you know what? I really need a big, strong, handsome man.
That's what I do. It works every time.
And so you gamify appreciation.
Yes.
I know it's a game, and because we both consciously know it's a game, it makes me laugh. It makes me smile.
And you do it.
I don't mind doing it.
Right, exactly.
Right? So because she understands me, she communicates to me in a way that she knows.
Hang up.
She knows that communication actually motivates me to stay in the relationship.
As opposed to you know what? There you go. Another man thing ain't done, Mr. Man.
There you go.
Is it too damn
But you know
heavy?
what?
Maria,
I do what he
wait.
just said.
Still there? Hold on, guys. Maria, the phone caller. I know she's still listening though. Call us back. We didn't mean to.
We never got her actual question
because
she said they're hanging on by a thread. So obviously they're at each other, and he doesn't want to. He's nervous to come in on the call, but go on.
We still didn't get her question. We just know their relationship has a
right.
Two people not being honest.
We just wanted to specify
I can tell you that,
what her issue was so we could gamify it.
Honestly.
But so call us back, 323-965.
Oh, she's back. She's back.
Oh, she's back.
Hey,
Let's get her back on. Maria?
Hello?
Maria, so what exactly, and the reason why we took that little diversion is because we wanted you to hear an actual example of gamification. You hear how Doc Barham's wife gamified appreciation. Instead of coming from a space of entitlement, you should do this because. And I have the expectation I don't have to show appreciation, but once she gamified appreciation, he willingly does it and he's okay with it because he understands that it's a game. So what exactly, specifically, is the issue between you and your dude that didn't call in?
You gotta rub that in.
I think our biggest issue, I think we both understand, because we have talked extensively, that we both should be giving each other the same respect that the other one wants. We've gotten to that point, but he said quite a number of times, but once you start doing it, I'll do it.
What?
So we're at the
monkey
point,
see, monkey do.
Right, exactly. Or I'll do something unknowingly. I have disrespected him or done something in some way to upset him. And first he waits forever to tell me, but then when he comes to me, he'll do something and it'll piss me off. Oh, well, now you know how it feels.
Well, you're both doing things to get under each other's skin.
Exactly. I think it's how can
you're both children.
How can we sit down and finally say, look, this is what we need to do. We said this, we both need to start now. It's like we're both hesitant to take that first step, I guess.
Because
biggest issue.
In my opinion, it is because you both think that the first step is for the other person.
Yeah.
When you can get to the point where you go, which is what happened in my last marriage. I got to the point where I started feeling bad about me because I was so good at being stank. And, I'm good at it. I'm good at it. Mouth nasty, old creative ass ways to make you miserable.
Just peeing in the bed.
Just, I'm going to look at you and pee in the bed. How about that?
So
I'm just being
disgusting.
smooth in the bed, and I'm over here. It's going on your side, so I'm messing up your side of the mattress. I actually can still sleep over. No, okay.
That's so sad.
Okay, I'm off the road. I'm off the road. Let me get back on the road.
Farting in church.
Yeah, farting in.
Maria. This is this is one of the docs. Here's a tip. Okay,
This is the authority.
I want you to ask this guy,
Clean this mess up.
and you got to do it from a calm, non-resentful side. I want you to ask him, how often do you think that I believe you do something right as opposed to something wrong? And he's going to say, I don't think you think I do anything right, because he feels overly criticized. And when he says, I think in your eyes I do everything wrong, when he says that, you got to look him right in the eye to eye and say, and when I do that, does that hurt you more than it angers you? Because underneath it, he's got a lot of. No, you both do. He's got a lot of hurt. You got a lot of hurt, but you don't trust each other enough to bare your necks to each other. So you bare your teeth to each other. But if you could do that, if you could say exactly that, how often do I ever let you feel that you're doing something right versus wrong? He'll say almost never, and then say, does it hurt more? And if you hit it right, his eyes are going to water up, and then what you got to say is, I'm sorry I didn't see that, and I'm going to try and do better, and then maybe he'll do better.
She laughs.
And I think Doc Barham has one for you too. Doc, what would you build onto that with too?
Well, I think that one of the big things in a relationship is it's hard to forgive and it's hard to say you're sorry. Right? And that actually takes, from some people's perspective, it's like showing you're weak, but it actually takes a tremendous amount of courage and strength. You're actually being accountable and responsible for yourself if you make mistakes in a relationship. And my wife and I have a thing that we practice, which is several steps. If I have to own my stuff, right, and I come to her and I say, number one, I say, I'm sorry. Number two, I say, you're right. Number three, I will say that I hope you can forgive me. Number four, I will say I'll do differently in the future. And number five, I say specifically this is what I'll do differently.
Wow.
So it's 5 steps. The first thing is I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is I acknowledge that from her perspective, she is correct.
Mm-hmm.
The third thing is I'm sorry, you're right, and I hope you can forgive me, which is actually a really important piece, because just because I apologize doesn't mean she forgives me.
Right.
It lets her know that she has a piece of work to do as well.
Right. And forgiveness is some heavy work.
Right. And then I make a declaration that I'm going to do something different in the future, and then I specify exactly what that is, so there isn't a he said, she said later on down the line.
Wow.
I'm so excited to hear you speak, because I do the things that you're saying. And I don't have 5 steps. I don't have names for them, but we do that. Every time we have a disagreement, I've learned to admit fault, which I didn't do for most of my life. I just learned how to admit fault 2 years ago. And it's groundbreaking. And
let me tell you something about the doc.
And we always say, and we forgive each other, and then we make steps to new agreements to move forward. In the future, if this happens, this is what I'll do.
Let me tell you something about the doc. Like, this is a free show, really quickly. This is a free show. Nobody pays. We don't get paid.
I'm out of here.
Right? It's a free show. And the people who listen to it, it's for free.
Right, right.
The doc, not only Dr. Mark Goulston, but Doc Barham. Go to his website, docbarham.net.
Spell Barham for people that are on the short yellow bus.
Yes, there's a lot of them listening right now. Helmets and everything.
B-A-R-A.
B-A-R-H-A-M. And let me just say this. Dude has coached for Oprah Winfrey's network. Dude has coached in major sports, stars, celebrities, all kind of. Look at his resume. He's no joke.
Yeah, he's dropping gems for free.
Been on the History Channel. I mean, just, we can get into some other shit too now. But dude is a cold piece of work. And I bring these type of people on here because the whole purpose is to bend your reality, is to change what you thought was true. That is the voice of this show. So let me just say, I appreciate all the people who have called and bared some of their issues and participated in this topic. But what I want people to do is stop being so fucking ungrateful.
Go deeper.
We put this out so that you can change your life.
Okay.
And so we can change ours because we're not perfect.
Right.
We don't have all the answers, but we're willing to participate and bring this to a platform that doesn't exist where you niggas live.
Wow. Can we get that quote on the website later?
I'm just saying.
We're bringing you a platform that doesn't exist where you niggas live.
Right.
I love that. Put that on the
And
shirt.
to me, niggas means ignorant.
Right.
And most of these
I love that
motherfuckers are
statement.
ignorant and ungrateful. And if you don't like the show, fuck you.
Wow.
Go listen to something else.
Zoe
So
Williams,
I just gotta
ladies
be
and
real
gentlemen,
with it.
there was something on his chest.
I just gotta be
that he
real with
needed
it.
to get
Go to
off.
World Star Hip Hop.
Right?
Well,
I just
for
gotta be real
ignorance,
with
yes.
it. If you're dumb, uneducated, and unevolved and self-unaware, fuck you, kick rocks.
Or if you're those
I'm
things
with
that you don't wanna
Rockefeller.
change. Woo!
Let's have a fucking population de-evolution. Let's kill a lot of these dumb motherfuckers.
Oh, I told you that.
I'm just saying.
I thought everybody think I'm wrong.
I'm just saying. Now,
Wow, Zoe Williams.
back
Zoe What
to
Morning
the
Show.
callers.
I would love it.
Wow. Shots
Let's gamify
fired.
some more
Shots
problems.
fired on the dumb niggas watching the
Sure
show.
wish you could have gave me a piece of that bone.
Talib, you're on the line. Let's holla.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey,
What up,
Talib.
pimp?
Okay, how you doing?
Hey, turn your life down. It's loud.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm a mail carrier,
hilarious.
too. I'm
Turn
calling
your
in. I'm Maria's man.
Got you.
Oh, now we got him on the phone.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
she,
your
hey,
side?
she called you out.
Punk pussy nigga or something?
First for a reason.
Okay.
I'm out here delivering mail, too, so that's why it's loud out here.
Right, he
No
could have been
problem.
fighting a dog.
No problem. Go ahead, sir.
I let her call in first, and I convinced her to call in first. They did what she was going to say.
Oh, so you was gamifying.
It sounds like
Not checkers.
it sounds like they didn't have the same agreement or set of rules because she sounds like she thought they were calling at the same time, and he says I convinced her to call first. So already there's a communication barrier.
She suggested we both call in. I didn't say anything.
You didn't agree.
That don't sound like what you just said, Tyler.
You said you convinced her to call in first.
When she started saying that we should call in, I said, why don't you call in first?
Okay.
Okay, well, go on.
Go on. You're on now. That's what's most
that's what
important.
counts.
She called. You call. What's on your mind?
Okay. We have this issue. Zoe knows about one of the issues I have because I inboxed you about it.
Exactly.
You know, pertaining to one of my baby mamas.
One of.
Yeah, I got 2 baby mamas.
Okay.
It's like she got a baby daddy.
Business
All
out.
3 of these motherfuckers is causing fucking havoc. You know what I'm saying?
So how do we gamify blended families and the conflict that
You know what?
ensues?
You know what? Granted, I don't do the things the way how she feels I should. I get results. She complained about not being next to my youngest daughter. I got that done.
I'm sorry.
It may not been the way she felt it would be done. I got it done. She complains about the fact that I told her this from jump. I have communications issues. I've been married before, and I let everybody know. I'm not the biggest of letting you know, hey, everything that's going on with me at the moment, I do it.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I know I'm not, and I try to work on it. It's not that easy for me. I'm 35. I've been doing this shit like this my own way for a long time. I introduced her to your show, and one of the comments that the doc made pertaining to men or babies and women are all crazy, well, she throws that up a lot, and I kind of have to call bullshit on that one because babies cry when they don't get their way. They rah, 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 and then with them being women, they fucking crazy.
Talib, bro, I'm gonna tell you something I'm gonna need because of course, we can't solve whatever your problems or any or all of your problems.
There's several.
In 3 minutes.
It sounds like
what I need.
I know.
What I need is a specific scenario in 30 seconds. This happened. I handled it this way. She didn't like it. What do y'all think? Because it's too vague right now.
The whole issue I have mostly is her listening to me. And when she don't listen to something, advice I give her or tell her how to do something, and it goes wrong, she gets mad. I'm the bad guy now.
Talib, I need a specific example.
She said she don't listen.
That's not specific.
He wants to know what she didn't listen to.
Yes.
She don't listen to how he talking right now.
Her becoming a mail carrier.
Okay.
I told her from jump. I've been working at the post office a lot longer than she has. She just recently started working here. I told her, I don't want you working for the post office because it's a messed up job. She didn't want to listen to me. She was only looking at it from the money aspect. She went on ahead and kept complaining about it. You don't support me in anything. This could be better for us. And I tell her, you don't want to do this. She didn't listen. I said, fine. Go ahead. I put forth the effort to get her in the door. She got the job. She hates it. Now she just recently put in her resignation to go to another job, and she complains about it all the time. And I tried to tell her, you should have listened to me from the beginning.
But you helped her get the job.
Tangerine,
and
stay off of the woman's side.
No, I'm definitely not on her side.
She expected it to.
How do you gamify hard-headedness? If I told you not to get this job, and I'm the head of the house as the man, if you believe that, how do you keep her in check?
It sounds to me, maybe Dr. Goulston and Barham could help me. It sounds to me like Talib feels like she owes him something.
No, I don't feel like she owes me anything.
It's
just the whole point of if I suggest something or I say, hey, this should work out like this. If you do it this way and it doesn't, you do exactly the opposite of what I tell you.
She doesn't respect him.
Then you want to get mad at me and come off, yelling at me because it didn't go the way. It went the way I told you it would go if you didn't do what I told you.
This is a great show now. We need her to call back.
Don't get mad at me for you not listening.
She should call back. She should.
No, Talib, I think if I may say,
Maria's back.
Maria.
Okay, before we go.
Oh shit.
Talib. No, we don't want to do that.
They're gonna argue.
If she was to say, if she was still hot about the job being jacked up, if she was still resigning, would you feel better if she went, baby, you was right. This job wasn't shit. Perhaps in the future, I don't know about all the time, but some of the time, I'm going to listen to you.
And that would be a good solution.
Would you be all right with that answer?
That would be a great solution.
Hello? Is that dog got your leg?
It would be better if I didn't have to hear all the negative bullshit behind the fact that she didn't listen and it's going wrong.
But answer his question.
Talib, that's unfair. That's unfair of you. You knew this job wasn't shit before she took it. So you knew you was going to get some negative shit. Here's what I'm saying.
And if
what
you're
did
married,
you think she was going to say? This job ain't shit. You told her the job wasn't shit. She's supposed to be able to tell you the job ain't shit.
And that's your wife, so you guys share everything.
Hey, wait a minute, though.
So what she also supposed to say is, you know what, baby? You right. This job wasn't shit, and I want to quit. Maybe I'm going to listen to you in the future. Would you have a problem with that answer?
Well, let's put it this way.
No, if she said that, no, I wouldn't have a problem.
All right, let's see.
So let's get that confession from Maria right now.
So we got the confession. Maria, you're on the line.
No, we got I'll accept the confession from Talib. Maria, we need her to make the confession.
And you know what? I have no problem doing that.
Let's hear it.
And I have told him, you know what? You were right. I should have listened. But behind it, I told you, if you didn't listen to me in the first place, okay, I understand. I need to listen to you more often.
You said that to him?
You don't have to do all the back talk. You know what? You should have listened, okay, next time, and let it be done.
Maria.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a hey, I was right.
Thank you.
You should have hollered at me about my rightness.
Maria.
Right. But she said she already did.
I'm going to tell you something my wife tells me, because I'm a little different. Once I say it, I'm done. Other people are not like this. My wife is not like that. Sometimes I said, baby, I got it. I understand. She hit me in the head with this. I'm going to talk till I feel better.
You know what? I say that sometimes too.
He feel better.
Let me get this off my chest.
He loves Maria.
Yes.
Talib loves you. Talib loves you. That's why he told you he didn't want you doing something that he knew was going to bring you, him, more misery.
And that's why I want to make this work.
You're gonna get some of that.
That was beautiful.
Good. That was right. Now that was some love right there.
I do have a specific scenario because Jeff, I know you asked for a specific scenario.
Okay, we're listening.
And one part of the problems is answer the question directly. Just recently, okay, one of his baby mamas, which I am trying so hard to tolerate them.
Yeah, you trying not to go over there with Vaseline on your face?
Let me tell you something. I've already had to pull my 32 on one of them.
Okay.
32?
Shit got real.
Okay.
So she has an issue with making false statements. Making stuff up. Oh, you did this. I've never met her, but she has told him that their daughter was doing some inappropriate acts. And was it, because I have one child from a previous person.
We heard.
And she made the statement that, what if it was my son? That pissed me off to no end. So my solution, which may not have been the best, I'll admit that, my solution is for right now, we should not let our children be around each other just for right now, because if she come off with some stupid shit, try to take us to court, et cetera, I want to have the proof, hey,
no, my son, because my son's getting ready to go to Texas for the summer. This couldn't have happened because he wasn't even around her.
Okay, okay, Maria. I hate to cut your shirt tail off at the collar, but I just went through this. Okay, here's what you need to do. You need to stop acting like this is 1975. It is 2013. There is no physical reason for either of you to ever talk to these women. You have an iPhone or something compatible to it, which keeps accurate records of every syllable that a person tries to communicate to you, which you can take to court. It's real simple. Go to court, get everything set up about disparaging remarks, because she can wind up losing custody of her child over that. And you only communicate with that device. You do not speak. You do not see each other. You speak through those devices.
What about hearsay, though? That's great advice, but it's usually the husband that comes back and says, she said this happened, or my child said you did this.
The husband is soft.
So can we game? I will say this. He did say, which I wasn't akin to the let's all meet. She wanted to meet me and my son, which, you know, the way she is, I didn't trust that, but he said, let's all meet, and then I'll record the conversation. And then if something, you know, pops off after that, we can handle it from there.
No reason.
Did you guys meet?
So there should be like a baby mama drama app where we can gamify. Because look, Jeff is telling her to record the conversation.
I got 50% custody of my children over this very thing, and the judge said directly to my ex-wife, if you keep with this and I see this documentation, this will go very far towards Mr. Brown having his kids all the time.
That's great advice if they're speaking directly.
Yes.
But I don't know about the hearsay part, because that's what I hear a lot of baby mamas go through.
I would suggest this. Maria and Talib, the brothers Jeff Brown and the sister Tangerine, Dr. Goulston and Doc Barham, they have laid out, if you're listening to this show, some basic rules or rules of engagement, game rules if you will, to solving a conflict. And if you really listen to this show, it's been about, hey, let's sit down and put on a piece of paper
on a piece of paper.
Listen to this. What game we're playing.
Yes. What are the rules? What are the boundaries?
If we really care for one another, these will be our rules of engagement.
Right. Are you playing the art?
Yes.
Think about the two games, old and new. Are you doing the art of war, or are you doing the art of peace?
Wow.
Love.
Wow.
But there's a Maria.
And you know what? Are you about to say something, Dr. Goulston?
I was trying to.
Go ahead, please.
Maria is still on there? Maria?
How does that feel?
Yes. And Dr. Goulston, I just want to say, I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I love you. I respect you. I got my degree in psychology. Everything you say, what Talib said, he disagreed. I'd agree with it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is Talib, you still on there?
Talib is like one of us. He's pro-black radical.
Okay, you're both on
I don't believe none of that shit.
The game that you're playing, that we all play, is once you try to talk about something that's happened, people don't listen. They just react. So if Talib was to say to you, Maria, going forward, so if you focus on the future that no one has messed up yet, you can have a conversation.
Wow.
So if you say, if Talib was to say, Maria, going forward, if there's a point when I want to either give you some protective advice or correct something, what is the best way for me to do it so that we don't go to left field? If he were to ask you that, what would your answer be?
My answer would be like Zoe said, let's sit down. And I have said this, and I hope he's still listening so he can, admit to it. Let's sit down
go ahead.
and write out the things we need to do for each other. Because when we get into arguments, it's about who's right. And in the middle of an argument, I will say, hey, look, we're not doing anything except pointing out the problems. Let's get to the solutions.
Can I ask you both something?
It down, but we have not gotten to that point because he will say, oh, okay, let's do that. And it never comes to fruition.
Can I ask you both something really quickly?
What's up?
Do you guys trust each other and love each other enough to advise each other? I think sometimes, and you know who told me this? Some doctor told me this. He said, the people who are the closest to us tend to save their worst behavior for us.
Familiarity breeds disrespect.
Right? So my question is, that the doc said it so well when he said, this dude, he might not say it right. He might not be coming from the right energy level, you know, because sometimes you could be trying to help somebody and your energy feels like it's attacking, right? So the doc used the word protective. So when he called in and said, yo, I told her not to take this job because it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and she did it anyway.
She didn't listen.
It's almost like, and tell me if I'm wrong, Talib, it's almost like he's trying to use his shield to protect you, and you're like, get that fucking shield out of here.
I'm an independent woman. I do what the fuck I want.
So just understand.
And then here come the post office arrows.
Going through the shield.
Oh, Talib, I got one in the leg. Told you ass.
And I feel that's the issue. We have to work, and I always say this, we have our own demons that it's so expensive. You know, we have to work on us. And then after we work on us, we need to work together.
Okay,
you know, and
that was good.
Communication, trust, and...
We're going to do something. Maria, Talib, you're both on? Okay, so we're going to do something exactly what Doc Barham said. We're going to change the game right now. So what I want each of you to do, I want each of you...
So what show? Changing lives.
I want each of you to think about it. I want each of you, you know, here and now, to tell us something that you admire about the other person that's special, that you think may surprise them that you feel that way.
I'm about to cry.
Can I go first?
You go first.
Talib has shown me a type of spiritual self-awareness and a type of spiritual understanding that I never even knew existed. He has introduced to me, you know, on the subconscious level, some things we have done together where I have, you know, realized that we're here more than just to eat, sleep, and shit. And I love that about him.
And he's made you a better and deeper human being, right?
Yes, exactly. And if I would have never met him, I would have been around here like these other people just going through the motions.
So hold on to that. Just hold on to that. Okay, Talib, what is something about Maria?
I can actually have a conversation with her. You know, it's she thinks without actually just automatically saying, "Oh well, I don't believe in that, so screw it. I don't want to hear anything."
What do you admire that's special about her?
She has some intelligence, and I respect that a lot. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm sorry. I see some kids doing stuff they ain't got no business doing out here.
Stay focused.
Get your hand from under a skirt, boy. No,
Talib, what is one thing that you admire and that you think is special about her?
What are you grateful for?
She has the ability to change.
To me, that's a lot, because the only thing constant in the universe is change.
Wow.
So with her having the ability to change, as well as being an intelligent person, that means a lot to me.
So she is someone that you can respect. I mean, you get these battles, but she is someone you can look up to, and she is someone that brings quality and value to your life. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so what I want you both to do, and this is building on what Doc Barham said, you are both now coming from gratitude instead of attitude.
Yeah, that's actually something that you can play with your partner, is the gratitude game.
What is the gratitude game?
It's really simple. You can actually, what happens is when you get into a bad place, what you tend to focus on is what's not right, what you don't like, what's negative, what's this, that, or the other. But if you actually start playing the gratitude game and you start thinking about what's one thing that I'm grateful for in my partner and my relationship, what happens is that your mind's a bit like Google. You know, if you ask that question, it's going to give you back that information. And then you ask, what am I grateful for? And the next person, your partner, they tell you what they're grateful for about you and the relationship. And what you'll find is if you go back and forth before too long, there's so many things that you're grateful for that, I mean, the list really doesn't end. So a lot of relationship is about, the reality of your relationship is about what are you focusing on?
Mm-hmm. I want to add to that because I was...
you're going to get more of. Wow. And when you're grateful for one another, right, sometimes you got to actually make effort to get back to that place, to get back to the center in your heart and your relationship.
Yeah, when you're grateful, your cup runneth over, and if you're not a taker, when it runneth over, you give to the other person. When you're disappointed, your cup is running on empty, and you get even with them.
And what I was going to say like 30 minutes ago and didn't get a chance was that you have to keep making your partner the one. When you first meet somebody, all you can think of is their great qualities. You make them the one. You make them the one. Oh, I love this about him. I love this about him. But when you guys start to really get to know one another and have arguments, then you stop making them the one and you find all the things about them that you don't like. So in that moment, in that very moment, sit still and go back to what it is about them that made them the one before. And remind yourself of what they do, just like we just had you guys talk about the things you like about it. I was really, really mad at my boyfriend, and we didn't speak for like a day and a half. I went and bought a card, and I wrote out all the things that he has shown me about myself in our relationship, all the things that I'm grateful to him for, and I mailed it to him.
Wow.
In the midst of our anger, I wanted to go dig deeper, and I wanted to remind myself of why I made him the one.
Wow. Quickly, Maria and Talib, these shows are all archived. So what you need to do is when this goes up, you watch this and you listen to yourselves and you both decide which of the people you want to be in this relationship, the before or the after.
Wow. And let me just say
by
this
the way,
too.
Using your iPhone, you can always text each other what you're grateful for.
And then you can save it,
Every single day. With my wife, I always send her messages on how I'm grateful for her. I'll also send her like the emoticons, like hearts and kisses and smiles, and I do that on a regular.
I was the only punk ass I got to
But that keeps it fresh. That's good.
Yeah, and it makes a difference when I show up at home at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude, don't it?
And let me just say this. Let me just say this for a lot of people that are listening. If you believe in Mr. Right, to me, you're in the old mode of thinking. And the reason why I say that is because Mr. Right always implies a Mr. Wrong. As the doc pointed out before about like these unspoken or unconscious desires that we want, or expectations or projections that we want that we put on our partner, Iyanla Vanzant called it silent contracts. We don't mention it is unconscious, it's a silent contract. And I listened to Maria talk about tolerating people. And I always say, if you're tolerating someone, you also have a silent timeline, because everyone has a limit when they're tolerating something. We have to transition from the old game rules of tolerance to the new game rules of acceptance.
Acceptance and allowing.
We can't accept or allow if we're always judging. We're always judging when this isn't good. Or where there's an inner appraiser, where we're always appraising, this is bad and this is wrong, and if only you could be like this. These are game rules that actually serve to destroy meaningful relationships. And that puts you in a tolerance space where that relationship has a shelf life.
Yeah.
You see?
It has a guaranteed outcome.
It has a guaranteed final date.
Yes.
So my point to you, or for the people out there that's listening, we have to come to a space where, when the Doc Barham brought it up perfectly about what was the word he used for the old game rules. He used, I forgot the word, it just left me. But we got a music, music.
Okay,
yeah. Hey, we put ourselves in a space where there has to be a winner. And then there has to be a loser. And
zero sum.
Zero sum was the word. So when we get in that space, that makes us opponents in relationships. That means we're the Niners, they're the Packers.
And that
but you can't have that in a relationship. We both have to be on the same team.
Yes.
Right?
Well, the thing about the art of peace is that actually comes from Aikido.
The
martial art Aikido. And Ueshiba, Master Ueshiba, was the guy who came up with it, and what he realized was that conflict is part of life, right? That human beings have conflict, and once you actually accept that conflict is part of life, all of Aikido is about how do you hold love in your heart even when someone's attacking you, right? And
Would
Mark
you run to me if somebody hurt me? Even if that somebody was me.
Right.
That's Prince, if I was your girlfriend.
Mark has this word that I think is a great word, and he calls it carefrontation.
Carefrontation. Go deeper.
So, to me, carefrontation is, and I should let Mark say it, but to me, that is the art of peace. It's understanding that conflict is a part of life, right? But can you hold that love and caring in your heart, even when your partner is not in that loving, caring space? Can you hold that center when they're not there? Because if you can hold that center, then it won't be a conflict or a conflict. Yeah, it won't be a conflict, but it can be a carefrontation. So you can confront an issue, right, without losing your heart, your center, yourself.
I love that carefrontation, caring confrontation. And that goes back to the point you made on Oprah about being able to stand up to your partner, in private.
Dr. Michelson!
Right? So tell us about those three things. Standing up to your partner in private.
Yeah, this is on Oprah. What you want to be able to do is stand up for your partner in public, stand by your partner in a crisis, and stand up to them in private to make them a better person.
Wow. I love it. What about co-opetition? Talk to us about that word.
Co-opetition is the thing where you challenge one another to be better. So, for example, I want to go to the gym, and I give my wife permission to actually hold me accountable when I don't want to go to the gym, instead of getting reactive to her and telling her that she's nagging me. But at the same time, she's going to the gym too.
Wow.
Right? So we're cooperating, even though we're kind of competing. So we challenge both of us to grow together and to be better.
I got to go to the gym because my wife looked like Beyonce and I look like a bowler.
You look like Travis Bickle.
I got something up under this table and it ain't.
Are our callers still on hold listening?
Yes. We're going to get Music Man in a second. But I think it's very important that, and Doc brought this to my attention. Doc Barham brought this to my attention. Gamification is everywhere. It's becoming ubiquitous. Right? It's becoming a part of our culture. Nike does it when they add these little technological advancement into the shoe, right?
Yep.
Where they monitor how far you've walked and blood and blood pressure and heart rate. We're being gamified whether we want to or not.
Well,
so why not try to evolve and change who we are with the times and use this tool? Because really that's all gamification is a new way to look at tools for making your life better, for self-development, correct?
Yeah, I think that the number one thing is this, really at the core of why looking at things as a game is very positive. You mentioned World of Warcraft before, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any game that people play, or any video game or whatever the game is, what you find is that when people come up against a challenge in a game, it's what actually is the exciting part of a game.
It makes the game fun. It makes the game interesting.
So if you've ever played a game, like a video game, where you turn the cheat codes on and you have unlimited power, it gets boring in about 15 minutes.
Right.
Right? So in a game, people actually, a video game or any game, they thrive from challenge. It's the thing that draws the most out of them. It's the thing that causes them to step up and to pull more and to grow and to learn. But in life, what happens is we don't tend to find that kind of resilience.
You know what this reminds me of?
We look at challenge as why me? Why do I have to experience this? That sort of things.
You know what reminds me of this, Doc? This is a great point you bring up. Highly functioning relationships. We tried to gamify it today. Functioning, take the first three letters.
Fun.
Right?
That's right.
And then the point you made about what there's an old Twilight Zone where the guy thinks he's in heaven because he keeps winning. Right? He's gambling.
Yeah,
he keeps winning. He wins everything, right?
Right.
And then he realizes he's in hell because he keeps winning and there's no challenge. Every time he bets, he wins.
No conflict.
Right. Double down, triple down. He just keeps winning. He's like, wait a minute, this is heaven. But then he realizes, no, this is hell. It is the challenge that makes our lives worth living. Imagine if everything you ever wanted in your relationship came into being and it never changed. You just always had whatever you wanted. You would get tired of that. You understand? That's the purpose of this show. I'm sorry we didn't get to everybody on the phones. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We changed lives.
But we have to go.
We should.
I want to thank Talib and Maria for airing out their relationship laundry.
Yay.
Hopefully we applied relationship tide. Now, I just want to go over here and get Doc Barham to tell everyone where your website is, and I encourage everybody to go check this brother out right now. Where can they find you, Doc? Twitter, every day.
Yeah, website is docbarham.net, And it's Barham, like Barham Boulevard in Los Angeles. So it's DOCBARHAM.net.
Wow. Follow him, please. And let me shout out to Oklahoma. We love you. Man, hang in there. God bless everyone who lost people, who lost family. You know, that's Tornado Alley. But you know what? Whenever it happens, we have to acknowledge and say, you know, Godspeed in your healing. We appreciate you. Tangerine, where can they find you?
You can find me in cyberspace at tangerine.com. Tangerine is not spelled like the fruit. It's spelled TANJAREEN. I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Vine, Instagram, everything.
Do you still have that beautiful gallery of pictures of yourself?
Thank you for the compliment. I do have photos online.
Indeed.
And you can also find me on your television screen every Friday night at 11 p.m. on Cinemax. It's called Zane's The Jump Off. It's very hot and steamy, and we still have quite a few more episodes to air. And you can catch up because they always show marathons of it. And my birthday is on the 30th, and this Sunday I'm having a big birthday party. So if you're listening and you're in
coming
LA,
to the birthday party.
It's going to be at the Comedy Union across the street from where we record this show. So Sunday at 8 o'clock, come check me out. Come give me a hug. Tell me you heard me on Zoe Williams Show. Or you can just sign the guest book on Tangerine.com. And thanks so much for listening to me today.
Indeed. I'm there. My birthday is Thursday, by the way.
Gemini twins.
Jeff was yesterday.
Almost Gemini.
Almost. Not quite. Dr. Mark Goulston, where can they find you, brother?
I think the easiest thing is just Google me at Mark Goulston.
Google me.
MarkGoulston.
This motherfucker here. Wow.
Swag.
Popping collars and everything.
I got long range pimping.
And you'll be impressed and confused at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, just Google me. You understand?
Google all of us.
Jeff Brown.
I can also be Googled, however.
You won't find much.
You will find me.
Police records.
You'll find me and 19 other white guys because of the way I spell my name. However, if you go to Facebook, GB Funny Style, ringtones and ignorant T-shirts and a book on the way.
Coming. Hey, Zoe Williams, at Zoe Williams. I'm on Twitter. Hey, follow me. Go. Hey, buy my shirts. Trust me, man. I'm creating a new line. They're dope. I'm creating a new line of apparel, T-shirts, and stuff that means something.
Smart.
You know, trust me. When I come in here next week, I'm gonna have one on, and I'm gonna break down what they mean. But yo, participate. Follow me. ZoWhatOrders at gmail.com if you want to get a shirt. I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. June 4th. That's all I'm going to tell you. June 4th, I booked somebody monstrous. It's going to be crazy.
Awesome.
June 4th. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all know who it is, but I ain't going to tell you. I see you next week. Holla at you. Deuces.
Bye-bye.